Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Monday morning edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel, as always, joined by Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. Got some news to discuss, even though we are light on the earnings for the week. We have some activist investor stakes happening. We have some weakness in international bank stocks. Seems like the weakness in Turkey is continuing to spread throughout the globe, except really for the U.S. markets. It seem pretty independent of that right now. But we're going to be watching that story this morning. We have some drug news as well. We have VF Corp splitting into two different companies. A lot of good ratings as well. So we got a lot to discuss throughout the show. Joel, why don't you take it away? What are the S&Ps doing this morning?
We are battling back. We're down only 250. Weakness overnight. Pre-market low 2050. That's under Friday's low. That'll be a big number for the week. On the comeback trail, 36 even is the high. We got to get green on the session, 36.75. Above that, getting into the 40 handle will be important. Not much resistance in the 28.40 handle. Crude finding resistance at the $68 level, 67.95 the high, trading down a quarter at 67.38. No crisis or not. Gold is going down 12.10 at 12.0690. Silver working its way towards $15, down a dime at $15.19. And Bitcoin still holding above that magical $6,000 level. Triple D bringing you back in. How'd things go for you last week? Did you snap out of that funk?
I did. I somehow went right back into the funk today, though. Maybe you're the bad luck for me here, Joel. You went on vacation. I had 3 great trading days, and now I'm in the funk again. I actually came in here short stock because I thought this turkey thing was going to, escalate over the weekend, which it did. So very disappointing for me to come in here because I was short a lot of SPY coming in. And I come in here and I was looking overnight. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be good to go because we're down 10 handles there last night. And now we've come all the way back here. So this U.S. market, just seems to shrug everything off, and it is doing it once again here. So anyways, I appear to be wrong about, betting against the SPY here, at least betting against the U.S. markets because of Turkey. Overseas markets a wreck, doesn't matter. U.S. shrugs it off.
Yep. Well, you guys got me acclimated here. And, for a Monday morning without a lot of news, certainly a lot of good things, but glad to be back in the saddle here.
How was the little vacay there to the mountains?
Montana's beautiful. I'll just give you a couple highlights. First of all, you got to swim in Flathead Lake. It's one of the biggest lakes west of the Mississippi. That was a great swim. First time I've ever rented bear spray. Went on a couple hikes. One of them was a 4-mile hike straight up Danneon Mountain in 95-degree weather. So that was a little bit of a workout. Did a ride on the going to the Sun Road in the Glacier Park. You got to do that too. And then 2 other highlights. One, I went on a rafting trip. There were 4 rafts with 10 people in. And guess who was the only person that went overboard?
Did you go overboard?
I did.
Lucky you can swim.
Well, you don't swim in these rapids, man. You have to wear these heavy life jackets. We hit. I was up in the front. We hit a big thing. I go flying overboard, and I don't know. Before I knew it, Lisa was over, hanging over. People were throwing me paddles and everything, and I was
get everybody worried. Nice.
I was kind of laughing, but got back in the boat. Everyone was very worried, but got back in the boat. That was fun. And then the only dumb thing I did is on my connecting flight, I left my Surface on the plane. And I realized it right before we were going back to, getting ready to board the other plane. Had a little confrontation with the Delta agent there because she wouldn't let me on the plane because they were boarding another plane. But after throwing a fit, I did get on. I got close to the plane, and they looked in my seat pocket, and it was there. So, yes, Stock Hunter, you have to wear a helmet. You have to wear a life jacket. And they do plenty of preparation. So it was fun. You're
a crazy risk taker at your age. You're like 60 years old and you're going on rapids here.
It was.
I don't think I'd go on rapids. I'm only 42 and I don't think I'd go on rapids.
You would.
I don't think so. I think I'd be throwing my back out and basically paralyzed for the rest of my life. I would have thrown overboard and hit the rock.
I was a little bit worried about the rocks. I did get.
You go overboard, you hit a rock. What then?
I do have a little bruise on my foot, but you know what? That's 5 feet from my heart, so I'm fine back here on Benzinga's pre-market prep. But let's just where do we want to go? You want to talk a little bit more Turkey?
Talk to Turkey, yeah. Give us, Spencer, some highlights over the weekend. I look at the TUR. I see it down another 11% here this morning. So after getting annihilated on Friday to the tune of almost 20% at one time, now we're looking at Turkey down another 11%. So this 2-day contagion is starting to look pretty ugly, at least over there.
Well, the Turkey lira did fall 14% against the dollar on Friday.
Again. That was Friday.
Right. That was Friday.
But then it fell again over the weekend.
Right. It just there's nothing new to say besides that it's just, it's continuing.
It continues.
Yeah.
I was reading a little bit about this over the weekend here, and this is something that was not on my radar at all, obviously, until a few days ago there when you start seeing TUR just, get annihilated. It had been leaking. But, there's $350 billion in debt over there. Obviously, they're going to struggle to pay that as the currency continues to fall. So you got to think automatically, okay, well, who's got the exposure here? It's Europe. I mean, it's over there. It's probably your big European banks. They're all getting annihilated here once again today. If we look at ING, it's down 3.5% just quietly here. We talk about Deutsche Bank a lot, but ING is making new 2-year lows here at 13.32. Deutsche Bank, not to be left in the dust here, is down 2.5% as well, trading at 11.50. These stocks are bouncing from the lows. So that is one good piece of news here from the lows of at least this morning. But I'll tell you, it's a little bit of a mess overseas. Even, looking here, like our markets, for whatever reason, just continue to be resilient. Call it rotation, call it whatever you want. The U.S. is still the best place, it seems like, to keep your money because for whatever reason, it just doesn't go down. But I mean, I look here, at Europe now. Obviously, China's had some problems here. We've been talking about it on the show for a while, obviously with the trade war too. But stocks themselves have had struggles catching a bit. They're getting hit here this morning too. I mean, it's kind of a mess.
I guess what I would like to say on this is the old Friday, Monday move, where you have a move on Friday and then you get a continuation of it. And just such a general rule, I don't have any scientific, evidence to back this up. But a lot
I do. It's my 2-day rule. That's why I was short coming in.
Well, 2-day rule with an asterisk because on a Friday, when you have international crisis and things of that nature, the Friday, Monday move, it just,
people get more nervous over the weekend. They read all the stories and their weekly barons and they read everything else. And they get more nervous.
Exactly. So what do you want to do? Do we do a little follow up on the Tesla? I mean, I bought it.
No, I want to go into, and there's a lot of different stories here today. Sure. We could follow up with Tesla, but we've been talking Tesla all week. We could catch Joel up here on Tesla. I mean, a lot of obviously headlines there, but most of those were breaking before you left. But you were saying even looking at those Chinese educational stocks here this morning, if you want to see stocks that are getting annihilated here, there is some news in this sector, Spencer. Give us those details because Chinese educational stocks are all trading down to the tune of 8 to 10% today.
Yeah, looking at TAL and RYB, those are the main two. There's a report from Reuters that there may be some regulation that would limit who they're allowed to acquire, essentially, and how they can grow through acquisitions.
So if you're looking here, and EDU is another one. It's down 6 points as well. So TAL trading down 8% in the pre-market. This is something that got hit last week or a week and a half ago. It rallied up. It's given it all back here in one day. RYB is pretty much the same story, although it's actually uglier because it sold off, rallied back about $1 or $2 in the last week and a half, and now it's selling off 3, so getting down near the lows. The charts are not pretty on these things. They're looking ugly. Joel, technical thoughts here as we see the Chinese educational stocks getting whacked.
From a person who's not a big Chinese stock trader, then you go into Chinese educational stocks. You're going into a whole nother realm here. These things have been in a major downturn. I'll just give you the pre-market lows here. Obviously, the primary market's already traded. EDU got down to 79.11, but is on the rebound. RYB, not much trading in that at all. You have a pre-market low of 1860, and then TAL, boom, just come off its pre-market low of 30.78. So in these kind of instances, if you see something $0.50, $1.50 off the low after the primary's already traded, you wait to see if it's more of a back and fill situation. That's what I'm looking. And if these things get anywhere near unchanged today, they're all trading down quite a bit. You'll see loads of sellers.
We did have a few 13Fs come out on Friday. We're going to get a lot more of them tonight. But I want to go to this Elliott stake there, Spencer, you were telling me about. Give us a stock that Elliott is getting a little bit active in.
Yeah, 13F days tomorrow, I believe. So we're going to get
tomorrow?
them after the bell. But Elliott revealed an 8% stake in Nielsen Holdings, NLSN. They also want the company to sell itself. This is a name that I've kind of can't believe that they're still relevant, but because they don't.
There you go, Spencer. I was just going to ask you, I hope they're doing more than TV and making movies, because if they are, they're toast.
I read a PR like a week or two ago that was like they just came out with a way to track some type of digital viewership, but I was like, geez, I had this company, I don't know, but anyway, Elliott wants them to sell itself, and the stock's pumping.
When did he start buying? Is this a new stake? Because this thing got whacked from. If he's just been buying lately, then that's okay. But if he's been buying here since it broke 30, and he's like, "Oh, you guys got to sell," then man, oh man, get off your soapbox. I wouldn't put $1. I wouldn't buy one share in this stock at this point.
This is how these companies work, though. They buy what's been destroyed, and then they try to get in there with their influence to try to, not only, push the stock higher, which he's doing to the tune of 12% this morning, but it's just, this is what they do. They're like, you get in there. I remember even like Gecko, remember from Gordon Gecko from Wall Street. Like, that's what he was really doing there too. They get active, either split the company up or sell yourself. They buy the stuff that's beaten down, and then they use their influence to try to push it higher. That's what's happening here this morning, or to push for a sale. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's how they operate. So it's usually when the stocks are really beat down, those are the ones that the activists get in and try to get in there and clean them up and try to make their money in that way, either by breaking it up or by selling the company. And so that's what they're doing here this morning in NLSN.
Yeah, Mr. Map says he loaded up on Nielsen on Friday. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, I don't know what you were looking. It had a couple lows in the same area, so maybe you figured that you have a swing bottom here at 2053, and then whoever knew what, or if it was Elliott buying in here at 2151 to 2969, your last 4 lows. That was something to lean on. You get into a gap area. I think 2404 is important. With these kind of things, 2475 is a pre-market high, pretty good volume. You want to see a 25.25 print, 25.5, 26, 26.5, 27, because if this thing gets a pop, 25, goes 25, 10, 20, comes back under 25, I think all these people that were fortunate enough to buy since last Thursday, and also going back when it made a low at 2053, they are going to be rigging the cash register.
I'll just tell you my opinion typically on these. Usually when these 13Fs come out and there is some active and you get like a 10 or 12%, but it's a gift. This is a gift. I think the stock, in my opinion, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe fundamentally, maybe they can sell themselves. Maybe they do. But the story is a tough story here. So when you get that immediate 13%, and you just bought it on Thursday, not telling you what to do, Mr. Maps, but if I was in your shoes, I'd probably ring the register just because it's such a gift. It's obviously, perfect timing, a little bit of a lucky buy because, you just bought and the news came out, the news is helping you there. Maybe you're looking at the technicals, some different stuff, but, congratulations on the purchase. Fantastic. But typically a lot of these stories typically just don't come right back. They take a long time to play out. Sometimes they work out. Sometimes those activists can get in there, break it up, find value in it. And sometimes they don't work out. So for the most part, usually I'm a seller. It's at least pops in the 13Fs. That's how I play them.
Real quick, Jamin Fletcher, should I chase AWX? Also, I'm saying I don't know what the move was on Thursday. Again? Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis. I wasn't
No. You don't have to be sorry. I just mean I had a rant. I went on a rant on this one on Friday, and I called the stock gambling. So, and I'm still going to say it again. Like I'll do the rant, just a mini version of the rant.
Mini rant. I love mini.
Mini rant. So anyway, my mini rant on this was everybody gets attracted to the stocks that move the most. They want to go out there and they want to trade the stocks, trade 100, 200, 300% up in a day. That's what they want to jump into. But that is what has the most risk. And like I was saying, I've been trading for 19 years professionally, and I can't trade this stuff. So, you're going to get on the right side of it. Sometimes you're going to get on the wrong side of it. Sometimes you've got to be very careful if you're trading this stuff because you can get hurt in a hurry. So here's AWX. It got a lift here on Friday, but the stock was $20. It's a relief pop is all it is. There's all kinds of overhead supply in this thing now. I think it was actually trading. I can't remember, Spencer, but I believe this thing I got up to over $6, and we were talking about it on Friday. And I just said I'd be selling into the pop. And obviously that already is working because the stock got up on Friday to $6.79, already come back in. So I think when the dust settles, I think what I said on this show, when the dust settles, a couple of weeks from now, I think it's under $3. It's on its way back there. So I think, there's going to be pops. Yes, nothing goes straight down, but this story here, I think is over.
Okay. All right. I'll just stick with that. I mean, you had the pop and the drop, and now it's coming back here. If you want to leave, and I think you got to wait till under $3 here because the low of the move was 271. So that if that's your risk for appetite, that was a lower move. And
I had all the lows at 2. That's what it was forever before it got a story. And I don't know what the story was, that really propelled this thing. I wasn't following it close. And all these little small penny cap stocks, they're difficult to trade. I mean, I can't make a living trading stuff like this. If you can, props to you. But I've yet to meet really somebody that sits down and is that successful just trading. Maybe you could say, who's the penny stock pumper there that's over, the guy.
Tim Sykes?
Yeah, Tim Sykes. So he's creating a lot of people that just want to trade penny stocks. And a lot of people start in penny stocks. But in bright trading, Joel, you were there for a long time, and you've been with different prop companies, and you've went around. How many really successful penny stock traders have you run into? Guys that just trade penny stocks and make a living every single year doing it. How many have you run into? I've never met one personally.
No, not one. Not one.
What a strange
and we went through at Bright. I've probably met like 200 or 300, different traders over the years, and I've never met one. I've met a lot of guys trying it. But those guys typically, when you look, they're penny stock traders. When you look at them 2 years later, they're not with my firm anymore. There's a reason for that. So maybe they moved on. Maybe they became successful. By all means, I'm not saying if you can successfully, if you've been trading for 20 years, I'm sure we got a listener out there that can do it and saying, oh, I've done it. Fantastic. If you can do it, continue to do it. But if you're a newer trader and you're looking for starting to try and to make a trading career, I'm going to be a career trader, and you're going to the penny stocks and you're listening to, these penny stock pushers there, I think it's the wrong move, in my opinion, because I've all the traders that I meet do more stuff that, you can predict better. This stuff is just very unpredictable. It's tough to make a call on this. It's trading off a headline. Stock goes from 2 to 20 and back down to $4 in 3 weeks. I mean, yeah, a lot of money is made, but you'll only hear about the people who make the money. You won't hear about all the people holding the bag that spot this thing at 20, 15, 10. There's a lot of people who are down significantly in this thing. And you won't hear anything about that on Twitter because everybody on Twitter just makes money. But there is, I promise you, there's a lot of losers in this. Probably a lot more losers than winners here now because a lot of people got burned here in the last couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. S&P's just we were wrapping up the pre-market show. We bolted up to 36 even. Didn't see any particular news on it, but just re-emphasizing that closing price from Friday, 36.75. That's going to be a big level moving into today's session.
Spinner just saying gold, and we were talking gold on the pre-market show. Joel, it's just unbelievable. It just doesn't catch a bid. I mean, you've got turmoil here overseas now. This Turkey concerns. You'd think, okay, well, Turkey's in a crisis. It looks like Europe's in a little bit of a crisis here right now. U.S. market's kind of shrugging it off, but gold can't go up in an up market. It can't go up in a down market. What market is going to go up in? And I've been bearish gold for a long time. I've said this on the show multiple times. I have almost zero gold. I have a little bit of SLV in my long-term investment portfolio for so-called diversification, and it's getting annihilated. And I wish I didn't have any gold at all. I also have a little bit of gold corp, but it is less than I would probably think if I, look at my overall portfolio. My gold, silver / gold stocks position is less than probably 1/4% of my portfolio. And some of it's went down, but I never had a lot of exposure to begin with. And I've pretty much gotten rid of most of my exposure. Kramer will say, oh, you need it for insurance. It's nonsense. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, how's your insurance doing when the stocks are going down and gold's going down here too? I couldn't be more bearish gold. And I mean, you're going to get pops. It's due for a really pop. I'm not saying coming here short gold now because we've been straight down here for the last 3 months. It's a big move. We lost basically 124 to 114 on the GLD. So you're talking $100 on gold you've lost in the last 2 months. So I can't say come in here and short it now, but I will say on pops, I think gold is still to be sold on pops.
If you want to just take a look at it, when you're looking at taking a position in something, it's always good. Go longer out, take a monthly chart. If you'd been looking at the monthly chart in GE, man, you wouldn't have seen a green candle for several months, and then you finally got one and went right back down. Wow, this is on the lows of the move again, GE here. 1271, 1261. Same for the gold market. Maybe there's a lot of concerns. Turkey's dumping some gold here to perhaps do some central bank action. Good comments here from Grant Wilkerson. Strong dollars, not good for gold either. So there's a lot of different factors. Psychological level at 1200, you trade different contracts in this. So, you have to look at the rolling contract. You're back to your January low or near your January low of 1192.30. See if you want to buy it, at least wait for a double bottom, triple bottom, or some kind of formation like that to lean on. But
I think we're going under $1,000 in gold. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I think if I would do a timeline, my 52-week target on gold would be $999. Where are we right now? Are we 13
the spot futures or the up close futures, that'd be the D's futures, 1205.80. That's
okay, so 1205. So whatever. I think my 52-week target on gold is $999. I think we're going under 1,000. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I would call on Deutsche Bank under $10 too. So, I can get bearish sometimes and turn, my tune there. But, Deutsche Bank still is not getting that big of a lift. I still think Deutsche Bank could go under $10 eventually. Although, again, it's come significantly off the highs from just a few days ago. You never want to initiate positions, when stocks have fallen so much. Like I always say, if I'm making a call on something and I'm bearish something and the trend is down, I'm going to be selling pops. I'm usually not selling drops. I'm selling pops. So it's like today when gold's trading down, or the GLD is trading down a point. I'm not coming in here selling gold today. I'm looking for pops to sell it on though. So if you get a day where it's actually up $1, that's where I would be probably initiating, a sale. But, I never really like selling. Me and Joel call it selling in the hole. And I just, it's difficult because you're already down and you're going from there. And I don't know. So, and then you look Deutsche Bank, same thing, long-term perspective. I don't want to own any of these banks because I don't know. They've got so many problems, it seems like, over in Europe. They're going to maybe figure them out, but there's just so much debt too. So maybe they're not going to figure them out. It's hard to say. But like I said, the way I was playing Deutsche Bank before was with the preferreds. I don't think you're at that point yet. It doesn't feel like June and July over there yet. It feels like a bad couple of days. So I'm not, jumping in here and shorting their preferreds or jumping in here and shorting the common here right now. But it's on watch. And if it starts to continue to get ugly there could be a trade, even short in the preferreds.
All right.
Can we do Cisco Foods real quick?
Yeah.
Uncomfortable silence. Whoever.
No,
wanted to
I
go,
actually wasn't sure.
I was on mute.
No, I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I thought my computer may have frozen up, honestly. So I was a little bit worried there for a second, but it was
do
not.
Cisco. Let's go.
me.
It's trading up. Food stocks a little bit back in favor this morning.
Yeah, SYY reporting earnings here this morning. The Q4 EPS 94 cents, beat by a penny. Sales 15.3 versus $15.28 billion. So beat on the EPS, a slight beat on the sales, and they passed a new 52-week high during the pre-market session.
How high did we get?
We got to $72, Dennis.
What people? I guess it's right there, 71.50 here. But man, people get excited. Like, here's what happened, and I want to know what happened back on July 30th, because we went from $72 to $65 in one day, and then we slowly climbed our way back right before the earnings report here. What happened back then? Do we know?
On what day was this?
Well, you can see the big red candle.
See that big red bar right there?
July 30th, when the thing got annihilated for the 2.
My trade station is being buggy right now. What happened on July 30th? I don't know.
I'll go to the Pro. Let me go to the Pro.
There's nothing in there for the 30th. I don't know.
What would be the 29th? That's probably the day before. Cisco announces.
No, nothing. No, I'm seeing.
Anyway, or with the 27th dividend payment. No. Okay, Chad, help us out if you see something in there. SYY.
Spinner says something about pelts here, but I'll just, for me, this is that pre-market high, 72 even, former all-time high. Now, how many food stocks are you going to find at, trading at or near an all-time high? So 71.97, that was your high in July. You just take $72 at pre-market trading.
Look in the book.
Yeah, let's see if there's any. That's a little far away and not be there. I mean, 72, boom. Greener skies ahead. Just be careful for the old 72.10 print off the open. Come back under 72. Stock came hard off that level, rebound back at all-time highs. Don't find many food stocks at all-time highs. So I don't know if this is one to be chasing on the upside. 72 even is my number of the day for Cisco.
10,000 shares in the book. That's not big. So I don't know if there's more hidden there or not, but that's still the level of resistance, 72. It takes that out. Maybe the party continues here. But remember when you were chasing Kraft Heinz, like people are chasing Kraft Heinz 3-4 days ago, these food stocks pop 5-10% on their earnings. It's usually a time to sell. KHC got up there on the earnings report. Everybody had to jump in there that day. That's the day I sold out of my Kraft Heinz. It got up to $64.99, which is an absolutely ridiculous move for a food stock. 5 days later, it's right back down. Cisco, a little bit different business. It is a little more volatile than a Kraft Heinz. It has performed a lot better than a lot of the other food stocks. Like you were saying, it's at all-time highs, which most of the food stocks aren't even close to. So it's a little better story over here. So I don't know if this is going to give it right back, but I'll just say, I've learned from, chasing these things up 5%, these food stocks, there is usually a way to lose money.
All right. It's Malik is asking about Walmart. And any particular news on Walmart here, or back up at all time? No, not all time highs.
Back up over 90 though. We've taken out the 90 seller. We're doing some work here. I mean, we had a nice candle on Friday, had a week, and then turned around and really rallied here. $90.30 bid is trading up here this morning, a little bit defensive, although this market is starting to go risk on here. I was going to say, an hour ago, I'd say this is a risk off day, but it looks like it's turning around and trying to go risk on here. So anyways, it's come back a bit.
You got a big level here. I mean, it's been knocking on the door, trading up 21 cents here. And, I love to see 90.28 high, 90.23 high, 90.37 high, boom, right back there at that level. So this is one of the, 15-minute charts where you see it open 90.20, whatever, 90.30, holding that close of 90.18 and continuing on the breakout. You got a big red candle. I believe that was from earnings. So, SPOO's turning green here, market turning green. I mean, I would even be shaken out if I bought this thing at 90.25, 90.30, and it printed under 90. So nice candle there, knocking on the door, taking out some
I'm trying to figure this SPY out. Like, what is the real driver here this morning? I'm looking through a bunch of sectors. I mean, the banks are all weak because of what's happening over in Europe. I do see some tech stocks starting to catch a bit, so maybe that's going to be a catalyst here. We know we talked gold already. It's annihilated here. Gold is just kind of, oil is just kind of hanging out, not doing much. I'm trying to figure out what the driver is here that is really driving us so much higher from those lows. Like, how low are we on the S&Ps overnight?
2050. We're 17 handles off the low.
17-point rally here in the face of all these problems over in Turkey. This market is so resilient. It's incredible.
Buy the dip. I mean,
it is. They just
dip.
Come in. You can't shake them. And I'm starting to try to figure this out. Like, I guess the U.S. markets just and so the U.S. markets. I mean, the other markets aren't resilient at all. It's just been the U.S. markets. This has been the place to be in the last 5 years. Like, you just look at all these other markets and you see, a lot of markets not doing well at all. And then the U.S. markets just continue to shrug everything else off. And maybe it's this, Trump, the U.S. versus the rest of the world type mentality here. But it's working for the U.S. I'll tell you that. Whatever it is working because the stocks keep going higher.
Yep. We're seeing 37 even. What else we got in here? Friday's intraday high, and I know I've talked about this before. I like to track the Globex high, which is the full session from 6 p.m. until 4:15 Eastern Standard Time. But I also like to keep an eye on the intraday highs. That's where the majority of the liquidity, majority of the money's traded, and that's 43 even here. So nothing up there. Let's see if we can take out Friday's intraday high of 28.43.
3 minutes. We just got imbalances here. Bank of America, 134,000 a sell. We've been talking a little bit on the banks all morning, though they've come back too. I mean, Bank of America was down like 20, 30 cents this morning at the lows, and it's come all the way back up as well. So you're seeing resilience there too. Still seeing weakness over in the China stocks. BofA's got 63,000 a sell. It's trading down a buck here this morning. But again, those are bouncing too. So you're seeing a lot of things actually start to bounce here. Although I'm not seeing a lot trade in the green, which is how I'm struggling to figure out how in the heck that the S&Ps and the SPY has turned green here now, because I'm not seeing it in the stocks. Maybe they're going to play catch up here. I do see Boeing trading up just slightly here in the pre-market. Did Trump say anything this morning? Because I am seeing a little bit of strength, like Boeing, up 70 cents is always interesting. Those tend to move with the Trump tweets to a certain extent. Caterpillar's come all the way back. It is now trading in the green. I still see Deere printed down, but it's already bid back up and coming back too. I mean, some of these stocks are all on the comeback trail again. It's a head scratcher for me here today. I thought we were going to be real weak.
Trump did not. He did not say anything this morning. The last thing of his that I saw of note was the anti-Harley Davidson tweet from yesterday.
What did he say now on Harley Davidson?
He's talking about planning to boycott of the company since they're moving their manufacturing overseas. So
that's deja vu all over again. I've heard that before. John Dodson saying a NAFTA rumor deal is coming. I mean, tariffs on, tariffs
gotta
off.
Be something.
You gotta be able to trade more than off this tariff news, or else you're just going to be getting spun around on the spin cycle. Yeah, and the spin cycle here. Dennis, we do not have an 8:35 guest today, but if you want to hop off for 10 or 15 minutes, I did get a. Oh, you're good, because I did get a chance to look at my bearings on the airplane. Kind of hard to read on that surface.
Well, we'll let you go for a few minutes. I'll put myself on mute, but I want to hear this Barron's pitch here, because I want to know what's going on with the Barron's. Because if you got all that time on the plane, you'll have the Barron's mastered.
Okay. All right. Let's go with a few things. Jack Dorsey on the cover, Square Twitter. I mean, he's done okay with these two companies. Square trying to back at the all-time high. I'm just going to give you just a major resistance level. It's trading up 70 cents here at 71.30. But you've had a real consistent seller here just above $73. 72.80 was a high, and then you have a high at 72.43. So 72 to 73 here looks like a sell zone, but trading up 65 cents. Twitter's trying to get my attention here, and this is a formation. You have the big drop after earnings. You fill a couple gaps. You got multiple lows in the same area. After 3107 low, which was a low of the move, someone just has a real opinion here at 3150 area. You've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lows in the last 30, 40 cents. What that does is basically tell you could be an institution here accumulating stock, looking for a rebound. Of course, old bets are off if it takes out that double bottom at 3107 from July 31st and July 30th. Working against my portfolio here today, Kraft Heinz, not digestible, not a great headline. That's traded up a penny. Dennis had a good move on selling that one on that ridiculous pop. Just saying, where the items are in the grocery stores, they're stuck in the middle. Who's buying ketchup? I still buying ketchup. This is a staple. I own it for a dividend. Certainly, I would like to see it get back over 60. That's been a number that it's just been bouncing up above. But that extraordinary day when it went to 64.99, your quant traders that knew what the standard deviation was on that, and Dennis, who's a human quant trader, got a good exit on that one. LYD, company I don't follow, but they LYL, Prep for Growth. This company, boom, boom. Now, help me out here, guys? What's Lydell Corp? I put LYB.
LYB.
Oh, why would it be? You shouldn't be that.
Lyondell? You're talking Lyondell?
Yes, Lyondell. Yeah.
LYB.
Yeah, it's an ADR.
It's up. It's bid up $1.
Yeah.
So it's trading higher.
Big level. Let's see if it takes out 114.45. Talked about some small caps, small cap gems. One of them was Legan, and I hope the Rev is still not short that one. They just like that company. Says it's got a lot in the pipeline. Just hit an all-time high, 254.24, but 250 looks like a level it has not been able to close at. Time to buy the British pound, which was another article. I don't know. It just keeps trending lower on the daily and the weekly. I don't follow the currencies that well, but the low of the move was 1.2267. And then the final bearings mentioned here, retail stocks still look cheap. Some of those companies were Urban Outfitters. That one still looks cheap here, but man, this is at its highest level since going back a long time. I guess they started selling some pizza there or something. I know they bought that pizza joint. Holy mackerel!
Is this all-time highs? When was
yes?
I'm going back 8 years now.
Yeah. Yep. That's a
these
new
retailers. This one, and we do. We make some good calls on the show, and we make some not so good calls on the show, and then we miss some stuff too. And I tell you, I did not like the retailers at all. And I was, seller of the rallies, or, at least saying I would sell the rallies there for the last little while. It's just continued. Stocks, they've come back. Kohl's is up at $76 here now, and Nordstrom's trading 53. And you look at the stuff like the Gap GPS, which I didn't like at all. It's back here at 31. Urban Outfitters. These retailers are all back. So everybody who's playing the Amazon eating their lunch is not the case here. It seems like these retailers have come back a long ways.
Okay, and let's see what the other retails were that they that mentioned in that. AEO. It's tough buying these teen retailers.
That one in itself. You saw Aeropostale go gone. I was like, well, what the heck is the difference between Aeropostale and American Eagle? I didn't see any difference at all. So I did not see when this thing got down to 10, 12, $13. I'm like, I think the story just continues to be bearish. It's not. It's $27 here now. So, these things have come back. What's the all-time high on AEO?
I'm going to go here. And, it's still up there. It's working its way. It had a double top at the $31 area in 07. That was February and March, but I have the all-time high at $32.80. But, Ben, this has been up for – it looks like 9 out of the last 10 months.
Hard to fight the trend on these things. Like, they still continue to go. I don't get it. I don't get why they're as strong as they are. Back when they were really beat up, we were saying they were due for a bounce. And I was saying the one I liked the most was Kohl's, but I said I didn't like any of them to buy any of them in my swing trades or even my long-term investment portfolio. I trade these things all the time, day trade. but I didn't put any in my long-term investment portfolio, even though I wanted to, because I'd already played the Coles once. I wanted to buy it again, under $40. I couldn't bring myself to do it because it was just so ugly back then. I mean, they've all come back. I look at this American Eagle Outfitters. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's back up here at $27. So, there's, it was a little bit, to do with the Amazon effect. That's what people were really hitting them down, saying the malls are dead now. Well, I don't know if the malls are back or what it is, but, these are in strip malls, the American Eagle Outfitters. But wow, impressive moves back. I still don't really care for the long-term story here, but I tell you, it's working.
Okay, John Dotson is asking us about U.S. Steel here, under $30. What about tariffs? Well, what about tariffs? Tariffs are great, aren't they?
Yeah, they're supposed to help them. It hasn't helped them at all. I mean, and U.S. Steel, we talked about last week when you were gone on the show, Joel. Like, if you remember right before you left, this stock had guidance. So this stock had earnings. They beat on the top, beat on the bottom, and raised guidance. In the after-hours session, it got up to almost $40. It was trading up that day like $2.50 and started to leak, and it opened red that day and never looked back. And it's funny how sometimes stocks are just disconnected from the fundamental pictures, or, and it's a good story versus a bad story. And they don't want any part of this story here right now with the U.S. Steel. So just because you're raising guidance and the stock, has decent earnings doesn't mean the stock price has to go higher. It's done the exact opposite. So whoever's been saying, this stock's going to bounce back because that was an okay report has been dead wrong. And this ugly party continues here for U.S. Steel. It's under 30. What I will say is it seems like this has been range bound for a while. And you did have some support back down here in the $30 area over the course of 2018. And that's where we broke out from before. So you could find a bounce level here eventually. I think, the stock is probably due for a little bit of a relief pop, but I think that's all it is. Still a lot of overhead supply here.
Dennis, did you ever wiggle out of that Nucor? I know
I'm still Nucor. I want to sell it. I've wanted to sell it up at 69 forever because it keeps getting up there and failing. Look how many times it's given me a chance to sell it at 69. And Nucor, I've had this in my investment portfolio for a decade. So, I mean, this is one of those long-term ones. I was like, I can't bring myself. I want to have some steel exposure. It's a little bit of the investment, the portfolio manager in me that wants me to continue to hold some. But the trader in me has wanted to, I'm like, got this conflict in my head. It's like, no, you want to keep holding, some steel long-term. And this is the best of the breed, in my opinion. And it gives me a nice dividend. But then the trader in me says, sell 69. So every time it gets sell 68, sell 69. It would have been the right call every single time. So the trader's been right. The investor guy's been wrong in my head because it's back down here at 63. I could have played it multiple times, buying this thing at 62, 63 and selling it at 68, 69 and it's continuing to work. So I would say every time it gets up there, it continues to be a sell, even though I don't sell it.
All right, because you got to give yourself a buck or two. You're trading your long, you're too price conscious. If you're been holding on for something that long and you want 70, 68 should be good enough for you.
Yeah, but I don't want 70. The trader in me, I listen to my conflict. The trader in me wants 70. The investor in me wants me to hold it long term, and I want to have it in 20 years from now because I still think steel is not going away. I think it's the best of breed, and I think eventually this is a $100 stock. But, with that time, this is a slow moving beta stock. Anything going 100 next year, it's going to take years to do that. It's taken years off my life holding this for so long. I mean, I've been everywhere in this thing. I bought this during the financial crisis. So, let's look, back to, where this stock has been. I don't even have the monthlies there, but, I've taken some heat on this. I think I was originally in around $40 and I'd take it down to 30. I've been up at 50, back down at 30 again, 35. Then up at 70. I mean, I'm all over the place in this one. So, but that's the kind of what long-term investing is. It's not a smooth curve. And I try to separate. I try to do it. The trader in me wants to trade out of everything. And if I let the trader in me do it, I would never have stocks that I'm up 1,000% in because the trader in me would have traded out a long time ago. So I have this internal conflict all the time. And I've been doing it too much lately. I don't know if it's a show or what it is, but I've been trading too much of my long-term investment portfolio, selling out stocks I probably shouldn't be selling out and kicking myself afterwards because I look at them 2 years from now, I'm like, why did I sell that? Because it got to a level, it pulled off, and then, all of a sudden it's, 20% higher. And I'm like, it was a bad call. So it's tough, as a trader, it's tough to run your own investment money because you want to trade it all the time.
All right, taking a quick look at crude oil for JJ in the chat here. Nice trading range in this. Just keep an eye on the major support in the lower 66s. You hit 66, 14 on Friday. The prior little dip you had was 66.11. So there's a nice trading range in that one. Really from 66, the upper end of the range is the $70 area. And this has been persisting for quite some time. So kind of in the middle range here. If you're trying to, swing long here, I'd like to see it get back over 68 and hold $68. A couple people in the chat here have talked about GM here. I did try a little stab on that day that it had the earnings. Didn't get much out of it. I think I bought it in the right in this area and got out in the lower 37s. It wasn't much of a trade here. I don't know. Is this Tesla stuff, is this good or bad?
No, it's bad. And that's why as Tesla continues to show life, now they talk about a 420. You got a Guggenheim analyst saying it could make $19 a share. I mean, this is GM. When you're buying GM and Ford, it's basically an anti-Tesla trade. So, and Tesla is still, no matter what, I know it's had a lot of saga here and lately, and I've been saying, I think Tesla is, a sell up at the 380s because we don't know. And I was saying on the show, I think it's range bound. I think you're going to find buyers in the 340s until we, get determination of whether there is a 420 offer or not on the table. And I think you're going to find sellers as you get up there to 380, 380, 90 area because there's just not enough meat on the bone at that point in time. So it's now that the news is out there and they might be taking it private, it changes a few things. But the story for Ford and GM is just not good. I mean, Ford is broken down. This is ugly. I have Ford in my long-term investment portfolio. It is a value trap. It is awful. I bought it in the 13 handle. The thing is $9 here now. It's a mess. And this is ugly in my investment portfolio. This looks like it's going a lot lower. And here I am. I still think I'm the only person that talks against my book. But, I'm long in this in my long-term investment portfolio, and it is an ugly mess. I look at this, it's $10. Was holding for a while, was trying to hold up. You're making new lows on the move. I think every bounce in Ford is probably to be sold here now. Am I going to dump it out of my long-term investment portfolio? I might lighten up, but I don't know. I've been in it a long time. I probably should have dumped it back when it got up to $12, $13. And that story, then GM was taken off. It started to look like, oh, they're going to figure the electric vehicle stuff out. They're going to, but I don't know. It's got a 6.1% dividend. And it just keeps going down. It's telling me that, there's a bigger problem here and maybe the market knows about it. And that's concerning to me. So this might be one that I actually might take a tax loss on this year.
All right. Just for the Tesla, just a couple things. I had CNBC on. I was trying to catch up for a grand total of about 4 minutes and 38 seconds. And just first point, everyone that chased it on that day, when on the Musk tweet, I mean, you're getting jammed here. It went to 387.46. That was still over $30 from the proposed takeout price. You do have some nice support here at 346. That was a double bottom. I'm not sure where that move emanated from that day, but Gene Munster was on, and Andrew Sorkin, asked him, is like, 3 weeks ago, when they had the earnings, everything was like, what a great car. We are a car company. We're producing all these cars. And it really pumped the price. If you want to take something private and you're the investor that's, going to be making this kind of money, don't you want to see the stock low instead of high? So to me, it just seems like a real change in tune for Musk. It really, burned the shorts that day. But I like to see, and I haven't done my research on this, what are the companies saying to, sponsor this company off the IPO? Are they dishing out money for the $72 billion that it needs to get taken over? So a lot more questions and answers here. But from a technical perspective, if you're trying to swing trade this thing, double bottom at 346.
The stock, yeah. And if this 420 comes off the table here now and they say it's not a deal, everybody say, well, it was 340 before that came out. So that's probably where it's going to go back to. I think it's going to go a lot lower than that because not only that, you've lost credibility here now with the Musk tweet saying financing was secure and obviously wasn't. I mean, there's the credibility thing here is definitely an issue as well. So I said, I was actually turning into a Tesla bull. I was even tweeting in that, with you back when the stock was, 325, 330 right after the earnings. But after all this stuff that's come out here now, Musk is just more of it's his Twitter account killing him. I mean, he's going to get SEC charges against him here now.
Wasn't he off Twitter?
He should be.
Wasn't that part of the conference call that he came on and he apologized to people? and he said, I apologize to the analysts.
Before he did this. Yeah. He's saying he was going to try to take it easy on the Twitter. And then he says, I'm 420 and financing secured. It's that financing secured statement that's killing him here now.
Funding
because obviously
secured.
He didn't
Funding
have it
secured. That's going to go down in infamy, I think. Funding secured.
Yeah, well, people joke about it and even things now. And I mean, it's Musk. They've thrown him in jail for that. Now he's not going to jail for that. But, they're going to get some fines for it. There's going to be a class action suit against him for it.
There already is.
There's going to be some headaches from it. I mean, what was the benefit really from this? Yeah, I think the way I said it, I think it went down. I think he just gets excited. He's such an excited, he's about technology. I think he was probably just shooting the breeze because we're on a PG show here, shooting the breeze with, he had that investment over from, where was the investment? Was it the $2 billion investment? Who was the Saudis?
The Saudis.
They had that. So he probably is talking with those guys. And I think it just kind of went down. Like he's probably like, he's saying, I might take this private eventually. He's like, we could do that with you. And as soon as he said that, he leaves and the meeting's done. And he's like, I got, the Saudis would back me. But it was probably just tongue in cheek type of, somebody probably said tongue in cheek. It was nothing written, nothing contractual, nothing, anything. And he's so excited. He's got to come out and tweet it right away that I might take this private and this 420 and I got the funding for it. Well, it's one thing to have the funding, somebody say, yeah, maybe we'd back you on. There's another thing to have it written and contractual. And when you put out a statement like that, you've got to be a little bit more, as a CEO of a company, you got to be a little bit more, make sure it's in writing, as opposed to, somebody just saying it. So I think that's kind of the way it went down. I don't think this manipulation stuff I'm hearing everywhere, or was trying to manipulate it higher because he's got some convertible note due in November and he needs to get the price above this. He's not doing that. He wants the long term. He's not even looking. The guy's rich already. He's not trying to, get rich, or he's not trying to sell into the pop or anything like that. Anybody who's saying stuff like that, I don't agree with them whatsoever. I think he got excited. I think he gets too excited with his Twitter account, tweets right away. I mean, Trump has the same problem. He gets excited about something, tweets his opinion, and then later on, maybe he regrets. I don't know if Trump ever regrets anything though, but I think Musk is definitely regretting that tweet. So I think he got excited, tweeted it out, and it's going to come back and burn him a little bit here. So I don't think it was anything intentionally manipulative, in my opinion, on what Musk did. I think he just got excited and tweeted too fast before he should have.
Okay, let's go. We've got about 7 minutes left here. Let's go a little bit into ratings. There were some interesting ratings here. Papa John's receives its second upgrade here in the month of August. Boy, oh boy, it's trying to get off the mat here, trading up 94 cents at 41.20. A couple highs in the 42 handle. Spencer, give us the details of that Papa John's upgrade.
Longbow upgrading them from neutral to buy.
Okay.
Price. Did they give a price target?
I don't have a PT, sorry.
Okay, so a little egg on my face when this thing was 38 and I was getting beat up on earnings day. I was like, I'm not buying this bounce because I like to sell them short in the hole, so I wasn't shorting it down there either. I made no trade on it, but it's ugly. They're closing stores. They're doing a lot of problems. There's some issues here now. But I look at the way the technicals have responded here in 3 days, and you kind of had the shakeout day there on earnings. That was a capitulation day where everybody says, get the hell out. Now you get an upgrade and starting to go up here again. I mean, there's a trade here. There's a trade from the long side here. I don't know if I'm chasing it here this morning, but you've got to find out now. And if I was long it, I would not want to own it below 38.05. It goes below 38.05, I'd actually probably turn around and want to short it. But I'd say, there's a trade here. So, I definitely didn't get the bottom here on this one if I'm turning bullish on Papa John's here now. I still don't like the fundamental story. I think what Domino's doing as well as it does, Papa John's has big problems. But technically here, there's the case where you could squeeze some shorts. So I think this is one that I would not be selling the pop into here this morning. And I'd actually be looking maybe to potentially buy on dips with a stop out below 38.05. I do not want to be long the 38.05. The only reason this is a technical trade, and that's it. I still don't like the fundamental story, but I like the way it responded to the fundamental story. Responded in a way that says, hey, we might squeeze a few shorts here. And I think this upgrade could squeeze a few shorts here too. So I've kind of changed my tune from 3 days ago, where I wouldn't say I'm fully bullish the stock, but I could see a case for the longs.
Up on very, very, very light volume here. I don't even see one bracket since the 4 a.m.
But bid up heavy at 41.20. So there's a big difference when you see a stock just trading with no market up there. That's telling you not much, but it's upgraded. It's bid 1,900 on NASDAQ, 1,000 on ARCA. That's pretty good for the pre-market. That's telling me there's buyers in here. Trade up to 41.70. I think Papa John's, if you want to do a bet on this, I think you can challenge the high from 2 days ago of 42.58. I think it takes it out here today. I think we continue here on Papa John's. I think we're going to squeeze some shorts.
Oh, man.
What's the short interest? I never looked at it. What's the short interest on this, Spencer? Grab it.
I'll pull it up real fast. Probably not very high, I think. Let's see.
I don't know. There's a bad story here. There could be some shorts. There's definitely some people who probably shorted after the disaster earnings report.
Joel, how you feeling on a bet? No?
Short interest at 26.3%.
Oh, it's high.
Yeah. Out. Cancel. Nothing done. But
I had 17. Maybe my system's slow. What do you have? You have 26?
I got 26.31.
Okay, it's high. 17's high too. They're going to squeeze some shorts here.
Dennis, what are you looking at?
I think we have the potential for a short squeeze. Take the stock to $45. Not today, but I think it could take off the 42.59 today. I think we're going to squeeze them.
I'm looking at shortsqueeze.com, Dennis. What were you looking at?
I have a different system. So
okay.
Yeah. So I could be right.
You actually pay for it? Do you pay for that?
I pay for everything. No, I don't pay for that system.
I
just actually went quick to the internet there, but I have another. I don't want to talk about everything that I subscribe to here, but I subscribe to. We know I spend a lot of money on information. I use my Benzinga Pro, but I also use lots of other. You've got to have. The one thing I will say is if you're a professional trader, you need lots of sources of information. And Pro is great. I think bang for the buck, Pro is one of the best out there because, it's fairly cheap. They get a lot of stuff. But I mean, all the news services get stuff at different times. So, if you're really, so you might have to subscribe to more than one if you're case. But if you're a retail guy, you can buy the Pro for sure.
And you've got to have your I'm sure you have your screeners and you have other.
I have my screeners. I've got other stuff too. Like, I mean,
how many monitors do you have?
But I'm trading for a living,
right?
So I need information. So you've got people working for you. You got a great team at Benzinga Pro, and you've got some other good news services out there too. But like I said, bang for the buck. I think the Pro is great. I've got it on my screen here all the time. So I think, it works very well for everyone, but you've got to have lots. I've got all my screeners, like I said, and Pro has some good screeners too, but I've got trade ideas. We work with trade ideas as well. That's good stuff there. I used to subscribe, to some different things. I have my own proprietary scanners. I've got other information. I mean, I'm in the business of, profiting from information. So I need it.
All right. Do we got some news on Whole Logic here? It looks like halted. Okay.
Did it come out? It was halted earlier. It is. It's out of the halt now.
Spencer, do you have any news on that?
The halt was resumed at 8:20. They are suspending their marketing and distribution of Vitalia handpieces. That is from Bloomberg. That was about an hour ago.
Oh man, I don't know. Long. I mean, if you're long, then I don't know where your stop was. I'm just looking at the monthly chart here, and there's just not where we at. We're at 38.11. Not seeing a whole lot here to lead on. The monthly charts so we could be heading down to 35.36. That's still $2 away, but not much background. Not a lot of volume knocking it down here. I guess if you're short, this is a quick windfall. If you're long and it's through your stop, then I think you got to hit the exit button.
Let's talk DBX. I've got one of my Twitter followers there. It's K-Lead. He wants some technicals on DBX after the earnings report. We talked a little bit about it on Friday. The response to the earnings was terrible. So this was an okay report. It got lifted. It was trading 37 after hours on Thursday night. Opened at 34, or it actually opened 31.95. It tried to rally and then gave it all back. So I don't like to see that response to an earnings. Decent report, bad response to it, which makes me a little bit nervous as I'm long it. I will say you got all kinds of support, probably at 30 again. That's where the support May and June. We did blip below it there. I think you'll have buyers there once again, maybe people who got caught shorting it through it. So I don't know if I'm full on bearish. It's kind of a coin flip for me here. Resistance up, obviously at the high. We got to the other day at 35, but support, maybe not down. I think you got some at 29.30. I don't know if I can get on board here, though, on the Dropbox story. I think there's going to be some competition for them. It's a valuation issue for me here. And I think the story isn't as pretty as it was when I was trading it from 31 to 41.
when there was nothing in there. I mean, I'd make a really best case scenario here. Maybe a head and shoulders bottom here, a long left shoulder here. Maybe just continue chopping 3150 to 30, 32, 33. Make a long left shoulder, and then very important to take out that high at 34.95 from earnings day. I will say, if you're looking to pick this up on the cheap here, and you're ahead of far ahead of the low of the move, you do have a buyer at the 30.50 area. 3 out of the last 4 lows have been between 30.40 and 30.81. You're trading up 17 cents. So Dennis talked about the support at 39 or at 30 and below. To me, I'd be keying on the $30-50 area. Well, I think we got through about half of our content here, Dennis. Any thoughts? I mean, we keep going green here. We did get to 38 even. We go green and then back off. I mean, it's just the buy the dippers are already taking it at 15 to 18 handles off the low here. I think just a real critical that you took out your low for Friday. I think it's very important for the market here. I'm going to use that closing price at 36.75. We're there after that first 15-minute bracket, and I'll say, hey, I missed another buy the dip opportunity. If not, I think we're working our way to test that pre-market low of 2050.
It's hard to argue with price. I mean, I came in, I thought we were going to be, I initiated some shorts Friday night thinking that we're going to have follow through here this morning. We did, but it all came back. And I mean, the buy the dippers are even there in the pre-market here now. I'm buying it all the way back up. So it's hard to fight this tape. It's hard to be a bear, at least in the U.S. markets, because they continue to just be resilient. So I'm not fighting this tape too. I've actually been covering in some of my shorts here this morning because you know what? I got everything I wanted. I got problems over in Turkey and I'm not making money. So what's that telling me? It's telling me I'm wrong. It's telling me the market is just resilient. So are we going to turn over and start rolling over again? Maybe, but I thought we would have rolled over already. So you got to, applaud the resilience of the U.S. markets.
All right, Spencer, you want to wrap up here, Monday's show, back in the groove, and preview what's on the docket for Tuesday.
Yep. If you guys have anything in the chat that we missed, sorry, apologize for that. You have to tune in tomorrow, same time as always, premarket.benzinga.com, youtube.com/Benzinga TV.
Netflix just breaking. We're going to break in on you here. Just I've got JJ, I've got Spinner in the chat.
Man,
Thanks, guys.
The CFO is resigning, yeah.
That just, I didn't see that earlier. So that just break just now?
Yep. That's just out.
Okay. So Netflix actually down 5 points here, just pulling back here. I don't know. Netflix is one that's so resilient here too. I mean, valuation has always been an issue for me here, but I mean, it always seems to bounce back. So we'll see what happens, but there's probably another one of those buy the dip opportunities.
Yeah, but people are buying the dip on earnings there and they're getting railroaded here.
Well, not really. If you bought early, you're actually back to even. It rallied 30 points that day and then dipped afterwards. And I don't know, not that many people are getting railed that much because it's not that far. Well, it's come from the earnings. If you bought before earnings, you're still getting hit.
Right. You just hit a low real quick on that news. 338.63. What's been the low of the move? Low of the move is real low down at 328. 338.48. That's the only level I can give you here. That was your August 3rd low. We'll see because it coincides with the pre-market low, getting nice. But you don't know the reasons for him leaving, too. I mean, people jump to these conclusions and, could be family reasons, health reasons, or he's just ringing the cash register. So, a lot of times, I mean, remember when everyone bought GE when they got a new CEO? Well, those things, you just got to take those with a grain of salt. Pay attention to your levels. Remember the reasons why you got into the stock and why you're getting out. So, Spencer, did you finish the wrap?
Yeah, thanks to everyone who joined us today. If you want to catch our podcast, you can do so on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, or Google Play, or just watch the show on YouTube. Thanks to everyone again in our chats. Quick reminder that all the information and content from today's show is for informational purposes only and not meant to be investing advice. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope you all have had a good morning so far, and I hope you join us again on Tuesday. Have a good one.
All right, almost.